Good morning, class. Let us start with our next segment from the chapter comparing quantities. The last segment. In the previous segment, we discussed about profit and loss, CP and SP. Today, we'll be discussing the last segment, which is your simple interest, which is popularly known as SI. SI. So, simple interest, the last segment. Again, I'll be starting with the examples to discuss with you. For example, you are having great amount of money with you. Where do you keep that money? We keep that money where? In this place called bank, right? Now, in case of emergency, you require a great amount of money. You are not having the surplus money with you. You don't have a backup. आपके पास नहीं है. And what in that case, what you will going to do? You'll borrow the money from the bank. What you will do? You'll borrow. Why you will borrow? There is a difference between purchase and borrow. If you purchase something, you keep it with you permanently. But when you borrow something from somebody, you have to return it back. That is why we always borrow money from bank. We always borrow money from bank. If we are taking that particular thing, which we called as loan. That money we have borrowed from bank is known as loan. L-O-A-N, loan, loan amount. I have taken a loan of 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees. Are we clear? So basically, loan is that term. So if you needed money, you did what? You borrowed money from a bank. You went to the bank and you asked the bank manager or the clerk, sir, I need this particular amount of money. Okay, so they'll ask you to complete all the formalities like fill this form, undersign this, the terms and condition, everything will be done, and they'll give you the money. For example, you borrowed money from the bank and that amount is rupees 50,000. I'm just taking an example. You borrowed the money from bank and that amount is 50,000. Clear? Now, what is this 50,000? This 50,000, the amount which you borrowed from the bank is known as principal. Principal, not PLE, PAL. Here principal, I'm not talking about the school principal. I'm talking about the important money, the first money, the first person. Principal amount. The money borrowed is known as principal. It is also called sum. So what is the principal amount here? That is rupees 50,000. Are we clear? Now, what do you think? Bank will ask you, okay, after 7 days or after 10 days, after a month, give us back 50,000 rupees. No ways. Then why the bank is giving you the money? Everyone will give the money on prior basis with some benefits. Those benefits are known as interest, the extra amount. For example, you borrowed 50,000, but bank asked you that after 1 month you have to return 60,000 rupees. But borrowed 50, but bank is asking for 60,000 rupees. Now 60,000, it means 10,000 extra. 50 plus 10,000, 50,000 plus 10,000 is what? 60,000. 50,000 you borrowed, but bank is asking for this 10,000 rupees extra. What is this 10,000 rupees? That is interest, the additional money paid by the borrower who borrowed the money. Understand these two terms. Borrower means who borrowed the money. Lender, who lends the money, who gives the money. Again, borrower who borrows the money and lender who gives the money. So bank is lender here, and if you are borrowing the money, so you are the borrower. Are we clear? You are the borrower and the bank will be the lender because they are lending the money, because they are giving the money. वो आपको पैसा दे रहे हैं, right? So additional money paid by the borrower here is rupees 10,000. Are we clear? Now amount. That 60,000 is the amount here. Why? Because what is amount? The total money, very important, paid by the borrower. It means to the lender. Who is the borrower? You. Who is the lender? Bank in this case. So L-E-N-D-E-R, lender. So total money paid by the borrower to the lender here. So that is why bank is asking for what amount? 60,000 amount. Hence 60,000 amount is the total amount, which we call as amount. We call it as amount. So amount is always equal to principal plus interest. In this case, What was the principal? Principal was 50,000. You borrowed 50,000, but bank is asking for 10,000 rupees extra. Hence the total money became 60,000. Are we clear? This is what amount is. Any doubt? Next, rate. What do you think? Bank can do any sort of monopoly that at any rate bank will ask you. Right now in this case, bank is asking you 10,000 rupees a month, which is a great amount, which is not required, which is a great amount. So if we do not fix at what amount the bank would charge that extra money, that will be the question thing, because that needs to be fixed. Are we clear? So every bank has to fix the rate at which it will give the interest. बैंक को फिक्स करना है कि वो किस अमाउंट पर, किस रेट पर आपको एक फिक्स अमाउंट, फिक्स रेट पर आपको इंटरेस्ट लगा सकता है. They can't do anything out of the box. The system, the institute which fixes amount is known as RBI, which is known as Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India fixes repo rates, means the rate of interest. They fix this repo rate. वो फिक्स करते हैं कि ओके यू विल गिव द इंटरेस्ट, यू विल आस्क फॉर द इंटरेस्ट एट 4% per annum, 8% per annum, 10% per annum. Understand what I'm saying? I'll just explain you what is per annum means. So they fix that rate. That is what rate means, stands for R. The interest on rupees 100 for 1 year is known as 8% per annum. Understand? If I'm having 100 rupees with me and for 1 year, what interest on this 100 rupees I'll pay is known as rate. If I'm having 100 rupees, मेरे पास 100 rupees है, and 100 rupees पर what interest I'll pay for whole year, that is what rate. वो rate है आपका. The interest on which rupees 100 for 1 year is known as rate percent, because it is always percent. We write like this: rate percent per annum. Annum is for complete year. Rate is always decided for complete year when we talk about simple interest. We never divide simple interest into, and we will never divide simple interest into quarterly or half yearly, which we do in compound interest. Compound interest we'll study in class 8. There is a difference between simple interest and the compound interest that I'm going to discuss also with you. But before that, we need to understand this terminology. Clear with the rate? Rate for 100 rupees. What interest will pay for the complete year? That is what rate. Okay. For example, 12%. It means, understand, for 100 rupees, you will pay extra 12% complete year. Are we clear? That is what is interest. Simple interest, SI. If the interest is calculated uniformly, uniformly means, what do you mean by uniformly? Which does not change, which is same throughout. Uniformly means change, same, uniformly. Moving same. Uniform motion, I think you understand uniform motion, covering equal distance in equal interval of time. That is what uniform. Moving with a uniform speed, again covering equal distance. It means equal, same, on the original principle throughout the loan period. Understand, very important. Interest is calculated uniformly, same, on the original principle throughout the loan period. Understand what it means. For example, you purchase 50,000 rupees. Yeah? Now, for the first year, for example, you paid the interest of 10,000 rupees. What is the total amount you are having as the loan period? Now you are having 60,000, right? 60,000. Now next year also, if you are taking the loan, that loan will not be on 60,000. That loan will be on 50,000 only. You will be paying interest for 50,000 only. You will not pay the interest on 60,000. Are we clear? This is very important. That is why we are saying uniformly on the original principle. It means if you are taken, you have borrowed the money from bank 50,000, you will pay the interest every year on 50,000 only, not on this. Yeah, clear with this? But in compound interest, what happens? You always keep on adding the interest, and then next year you keep on putting the interest. For example, first year 50,000, next year I was having 60,000. Next year you will be paying interest on 60,000. Now second year, for example, your interest became 12,000 rupees. Now what is the interest amount you are having? 72,000. Third year you will be paying interest on 72,000. Hence compound amount, the compound interest is always greater than the simple interest, and hence bank always give money, they always lend money on CI, compound interest, because they get a lot of benefit. Even if you keep money in your bank, you get interest every month. After 3 months you get the interest, you keep on adding the money. That is again the rule. That is also done on CI, not SI, because SI the amount is fixed. If you have put 10,000, you will get interest always for 10,000, and it will be the fixed amount every year. For example, first year you got 10,000 rupees as the interest, next year also 1,000 rupees, next year also 1,000 rupees, next year also. Keep on, even for 100 years it will remain 1,000 rupees only, until unless your rate is not changing. Are we clear? If rate is changing, then the interest will change. Definitely the interest will change. This is what is the main difference between SI and CI. Again I am repeating, SI में क्या है बच्चे, whatever you have purchased, आपने जो भी amount borrow किया, आपका interest उस amount पे ही रहेगा throughout the loan period. Either the loan keeps on for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, whatever. But whatever the money you borrowed, you will pay the interest on that amount only. That is what SI. But in CI, what will happen? For example, the first year you borrowed 50,000 rupees, but next year the amount became 60,000. Now you will pay the interest for 60,000. Now second year your amount became 72,000 after adding interest. Now third year you will be paying the interest for 72,000. It means in CI your interest keep on adding into the amount, but in SI you always put the interest on the original principal only. Whatever the amount you borrowed, you will pay the interest for that only. It means what will happen? For example, you have taken the loan from the bank. You will prefer कि I must pay on SI. But if you have kept money in your account, then what do you feel? कि please CI I want, because I want keep on adding interest also, on that interest again I will be getting interest. So CI is benefited in case of what? When you put your money in the bank, in your account, there you get the money. But when you borrow money, which is preferable? Preferable is say SI. But bank is very clever. Bank will never allow. They fix the amount, that is CI. They always give loan on CI only, not on SI. SI is not the option. Are we clear? Now we have the formula, very important formula for this. Let P be the principal, R be the R% per annum, and T be the time. For what time that you need the loan to be or the interest to be. So then SI formula is P into R into T upon 100. Why this 100 came? Because after removing this percent sign, it will be divided by 100. That is why SI is always equal to P into R into T upon 100. Do you remember? Now the different various type of questions may be there. P may be given to you, R may be given to you, time will be given to you, they'll ask SI. Maybe SI is given to you, P is given to you, time is given to you, they'll ask R. If maybe SI is given to you, R is given to you, time is given to you, they'll ask principal. Maybe principal is given to you, rate is given to you, SI is given to you, they'll ask you the time. But whatever you have to do, just put the values and get the answer. There is one single formula for all the situations. I am not going to different formulas for different situations. One single formula is sufficient and efficient enough to solve all the problems related to SI. I hope you have understood SI. You clear? So interest. Interest on what? The original principal. It will remain same throughout the year. Every year the amount is fixed if your interest is not changing, if your rate is not changing. Are we clear? So let's do the question from NCERT. So I request you all to please open your books on page number 172, question number 9, 10 and 11 will do. Let's do it. Question number 9, 11 and 12 immediately. First question, find the amount to be paid at the end of 3 years in each case. Okay, after 3 years means what is the time here? Time is 3 years. We need to find amount. What do you mean by amount? Amount is always principal plus interest. So we need to see, we will find the principal, definitely will be given to you. You have to find the interest and then you will add into the principal. You get the answer. Very easy question. So I am going to do exercise 8.3, page 172, question number 9. I am doing second part. Okay, principal is given to us. Principal is rupees 7,500. 5% PA. PA means per annum. Understand? Per annum means for the complete year. So that is why we write 5% per annum means rate is given. R is equal to 5% per annum. Okay, PA means per annum, and time is already 3 years. So what we have to do, we have to find the interest first. So what is the formula of SI? SI is P into R into T upon 100. What is SI? What is the principal here? 7500. What is the rate here? 5. What is the time here? 3 upon 100. 0 0 cancel. Now we have to find 75 into 5. It will be what? 375. Now 375 into 3 is equal to 1125. So what is SI? SI is rupees 1125. It means on this amount, on this principal 7500, every year with this rate you will get the interest of this amount. Fixed 1125 if this rate is not changing. Okay. Now let us understand one thing. We have to find amount. What is amount? Amount is principal plus interest. Therefore, what is principal? Principal is 7500, and what is the interest? Interest is 1125. If I add, what I'll be getting? 256. So 8625 is the amount that I have to pay if I borrowed the money, or if my money is in the bank. This is the amount I'll be having after the interest in my account. Both way. Are we clear? We'll be able to do. Question number 10. What rate gives rupees 280 as the interest on the sum of rupees 56,000 in 2 years? Understand the question. What amount, what rate gives? It means we are asking the questioner, the NCERT is asking for the rate. Gives 280 as the interest. What is SI in the question? SI is rupees 280. On the sum means principal is rupees 56,000 for in 2 years. Time is 2 years. Very easy. Again, I am not give. So let R be R percent only. Per annum, do remember, we don't know. So SI is equal to P into R into T upon 100. What is SI here? 280 rupees. What is principal here? 56,000. Do remember, principal or sum, one and the same thing. I told you it is also known as sum. Don't get confused. R remains same. T is equal to 2 upon 100. These two zeros cancel. Now almost linear equation. 280. Here multiply, there divide. Are we clear? Now do remember, here again if I multiply again, I'll be getting this. Any problem anyone is having on this? Need to understand, this is very important thing. We need to understand. Please try to solve this. Let me see how many of you are able to solve this problem. We need to see that how you're able to solve. Please get the answer. I'm just giving you a minute to solve. Immediately I need the answer from your side. I just need to see what you will do for this question. So can I keep R same here? Anything? Now 0 0 cancel out. 28 2s are 56. It means R is equal to 1 by 4. I'm getting what is R? R is equal to 1 by 4. If I solve, what I'll be getting? I'll be getting 0.25%. It means the rate is 0.25% here. How I got percentage? Because rate I'm talking about, rate is always in percentage. Because I have already removed. So 1 by 4. Rate is always percent per annum. I told you before also, rate is rate percent per annum. That is by 0.25%. If you remove, you'll be getting 1/4 only, no? You'll be getting 1/4 only if you remove. Clear with this? Anyone with a doubt in this question? This is how. Just see what I did. Last question, this is the homework for you. In this, Meena gives an interest of rupees 45 for 1 year at 9% per annum. What is the sum she has borrowed? Interest is given to you. Okay, interest is given in question number 11. Interest is given to you is rupees 45. Time already for 1 year. Rate I think 5% per annum or 9% per annum. It is 9% per annum. And what you have to find, interest is already given, time is already given, you have to find T. Just SI is equal to PRT upon 100, solve and get the answer. By this your simple interest is over. Now understand the last thing which I need to tell you, which is very important. What do you observe from this question? Don't you think if principal will increase, the rate, the interest will increase? If you deposit 50,000 rupees in a bank, you get the interest of 1,000 rupees. If you deposit 60,000 in a bank, you get the interest of 1,200. If you deposit 70,000 in a bank, you get the interest of 15,000. Why? Understand. SI is equal to P into R into T upon 100. It means rate directly depends upon principal. If principal increases, rate will definitely increase. Are we clear? Similarly, if rate increases, the interest is also increase. If the time increases, definitely again SI will increase. The interest for 1 year and the interest for 2 years will be different amount. Interest for 1 year will be lesser than the interest for 2 years. So hence your SI is directly proportional to principal, rate and time. If principal increases, SI increases. If rate increases, SI increases. If time increases, SI increases. If principal decreases, SI decreases. If rate decreases, SI decreases. If time decreases, SI also decreases. So by this, your concept and the chapter comparing quantities ends here. Are we clear? So we started the comparing quantities. Again we are comparing what we are comparing, the various amounts, the interest we are comparing. Are we clear? So with this, your chapter 8 is over and the 4 segments we have completed by now. Till then, take care. Bye bye.